Hello, welcome to Salvation and Stuff. I'm your host, Micah Coate. I am of the opinion that God is always speaking to us. Undoubtedly, God speaks to us through His Word, the Scriptures, but also through history in times past. As Paul said in his letter to the Church of Rome, he said, quote, "For whatever was written in former days was written for our instruction, that through endurance and through the encouragement of the Scriptures we might have hope." It's Romans 15:4. And one major part of this podcast is biblical theology. And in that, we will find instruction, encouragement, and hope. That is both sensible and practical. But God speaks to us in other ways as well. He often speaks to us through us. That is, that we all have a story to tell. And millions of people in past generations have encountered God and had lived in both peaceful and precarious times. Men and women from various places and cultures with different languages spanning across generations, with nothing in common except that God played a role in their life, and their stories are waiting to be told. In the ancient book of Deuteronomy, Moses, who lived, let's say, about 1400 BCE, he was not only the most prominent figure in the Old Testament, but he is the most important religious leader in world history. And he's nearing his death. And God informs Moses that he will not be able to enter into the promised land. And furthermore, that the nation of Israel will forsake the covenant and will begin to serve other gods from the new land that they're going to be entering. And so it's a pretty depressing scene, but what does God do? So God writes a song, and he tells Moses to copy it and to write it down and to teach it to the people, so that in the near future, when the children of Israel are suffering the consequences of following after other gods, it will serve as a reminder. It will testify against them in the hope to draw them back. So Moses gathers all the leaders around him, and in one verse, this is verse 7 of chapter 32, the song commands the people to remember the days of old and consider the years of many generations. God's solution to their misery was to remember and consider the days of old and the years of many generations. And we can relate to this. We have followed our own will instead of His. We have all made gods out of things that we know we shouldn't. And as a result, we have been troubled by the results. And one way to get us back on track is to remember those people and those times that give witness to the glory and the goodness of God. So on Salvation and Stuff, we're going to try and remember and consider those who have gone before us and the generations that have preceded us, because we have so much to learn from them. We agree with the friend of old Job that, quote, "We were born only yesterday and we know nothing." And what's the remedy for that? The answer is that we ask former generations and find out what their ancestors learned. That's Job 8. The aim of this podcast is simple. It's to engage, encourage, and enlighten all people towards a deeper faith in Jesus. No matter who you are, where you find yourself, or what you're doing in life now, if you appreciate history and inspiring biographies mixed with practical theology, all delivered in my absolutely stunning, soothing, masculine, and comforting voice, albeit sometimes very unclear, I hope you'll find this podcast worthy of your time. If so, please subscribe and share it with a friend. And to find out more about Salvation and Stuff, And to connect with me, please visit my websites at salvationandstuff.com or salvationandstuff.simplecast.com. Thanks. Hope to see you soon. Bye.